This is a poem called Dream Variations by Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes. To fling my arms wide in some place of the sun, to whirl and to dance till the white day is done, then rest at cool evening beneath a tall tree, while night comes on gently, dark like me. That is my dream, to fling my arms wide in the face of the sun, dance, whirl, till the quick day is done. Rest at pale evening, a tall slim tree, night coming tenderly, black like me. This is a poem called Won't You Celebrate With Me by Lucille Clifton. Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life? I had no model, born in Babylon, both non-white and woman. What did I see to be except myself? I made it up, here on this bridge between starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight, my other hand. Come celebrate with me that day, every day. Something has tried to kill me and has failed. A poem by Emily Dickinson. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings a tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could bash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land, and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. This is a poem by Gwendolyn Brooks, called 𝐕𝐚𝐫𝐤𝐴. We real cool. We left school. We 𝐉𝐚𝐿ate. We straight. We sing. We 𝐉𝐚𝐻𝐿. We 𝐃𝐫𝐲. We 𝑑𝐐𝐸𝐻. A poem called Still I Rise by Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room, just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high. Still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops. Weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. from a past that's rooted in pain. I rise. I'm a black ocean, deep and wide. Welling and swelling I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise. I rise. I rise. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, yearningly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. 'Tis some visitor, I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. Distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. So that now, to the still, the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, 'tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more. Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. Sir, I said or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is, I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal has ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was a whispered word, Lenore. This I whispered, and the echo murmured back the word, Lenore. Merely this and nothing more. Back into the chamber, turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. Surely, said I, surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see, then, what threat it is, and this mystery I will explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more. Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, and there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore, through thy crest be shorn and shaven thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by a reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of nevermore. With the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of the bird, and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself into linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous word of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease, reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated over, but whose velvet violet lining, with the lamplight gloating over, she shall press, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer swung by seraphim, whose footfalls tinkered on the tuft floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempters sent or whether tempest tossed thee, you are sure that desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore, quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil. By that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, within the distant Aidenn, it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels named Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting, get thee back into the tempest, and the night's Plutonian shower. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul has spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door, take thy beak from out of my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. This is a poem called 𝐉𝐵𝐺 by Lewis Carroll. It's pretty nonsense, pretty nonsense. Let's start. 'Twas Rayleigh and the slithy toves, Edgar and Kimball in the wab, all mimsy were the borough groves, and the moment raps I'll grab. Beware of the 𝐉𝐵𝐺, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the 𝐿 bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the mandsome foe he sought. So he rested he by the tumtum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the 𝐉𝐵𝐺, with eyes of flame, came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came, 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went glumping back. And hast thou slain the 𝐉𝐵𝐺? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabjous 𝐘𝐫𝐞𝐿. He chortled in his joy. 'Twas Rayleigh and the slithy toves, Edgar and Kimball in the web, all mimsy were the borough groves, and the moment raps I'll grab. This poem is one of the most misunderstood and widely known, called The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. 2 roads diverged in the yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wended where. though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in the wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I think this will be our last poem for tonight, or today, whatever time of day it is. The poem is called A Hypocrite Auteur by Archibald MacLeish. Number 1. Our epic takes a voluptuous satisfaction in the perspective of the action, which pictures us inhabiting the end of everything with depth, only for friend. Not that we love depth, not really, not the fluttering breath, the obscene shudder of the finished act, but the doe feels when the ultimate fact tears at her balls with its jaws. Our taste is for the opulent pause before the end comes. If the end is certain, all of us are players at the final curtain. All of us. Silence for a time deferred. Find time before us for one sad last word. Victim, rebel, convert, stoic. Every role but the heroic. We turn our tragic face to the stalls to wince our moment till the curtain falls. Number 2. A world ends when its metaphor has died. An age becomes an age all else beside. When sensuous poets in their pride invent emblems for the soul's consent that speak the meanings men will never know. But man-imagined images can show. It perishes when those images, though seen, no longer mean. Number 3. A world was ended when the womb, where a girl held God, became the tomb, where God lies buried in man. But Botticelli's image neither speaks nor can to our kind. His star-guided stranger teaches no longer, but the child, the manger, the meaning of the beckoning skies. Sophocles, when his reverent actors rise to play the king with bleeding eyes, no longer shows us on the stage advance God's purpose in the terrible but tailored chants. No woman living when girl and swan embrace in verses feels upon her breast the unawful thunder of that breath, where God may feast is by the blood confessed, empty as conch shell by the waters cast. The metaphor still sounds but cannot tell, and we, like parasite crabs, put on the shell and drag it at the sea's edge, up and down. This is the destiny we say we own. Number 4. But are we sure the age that dies upon its metaphor among these Roman heads, these medieval towers, is ours, or ours the ending of that story? The meanings in a man that quarry images from blinded eyes and white birds in the turning skies, to make a world of word not spent with these abandoned presences. The journey of our history has not ceased. Earth turns us still toward the rising east. The metaphor still struggles in the stone. The allegory of the flesh and bone still stares into the summer grass. That is its class. The ignorant blood still knocks at silence to be understood. Poets, deserted by the world before, turn round into the actual air. Invent H. Invent the metaphor. Just kidding. I have time for one last poem, an encore of sorts, if you would say. It's called Rhapsody on a Windy Night by T.S. Eliot. Well-luck along the reaches of the street, held in a lunar synthesis, whispering lunar incantations dissolve the floors of memory and all its clear relations, its divisions and precisions. Every street lamp that it blasts beats like a fatalistic drum, and through the spaces of the dark, midnight shakes the memory as a madman shakes a dead geranium. 1:30, the street lamp sputtered. The street lamp muttered. The street lamp said, "Regard that woman who hesitates towards you in the light of the door, which opens on her like a grin. You see the border of her dress is torn and stained with sand, and you see the corner of her eye twist like a crooked pin. The memory throws up high and dry a crowd of twisted things, a twisted branch upon the beach, eaten smooth and polished, as if the world gave up. The secret of its skeleton, stiff and white, a broken spring in a factory yard, rust that clings to the form that the strength has left, hard and curled and ready to snap. 2:30, the street light said, "Remark the cat which flattens itself in the clutter, slips out its tongue and devours a morsel of rancid butter." So the hand of a child, automatic, slipped out and pocketed a toy that was running along the quay. I could see nothing behind that child's eye. I have seen eyes in the street trying to peer through lighted shutters. And a crab one afternoon in a pool, an old crab with barnacles on its back, gripped the end of a stick which I held him. 3:30, the lamp sputtered, the lamp muttered in the dark, the lamp hummed, "Regard the moon, la lune ne garde 𝐿𝐾𝐿 𝐼𝐿." She winks a feeble eye, she smiles into corners, she smooths the hair of the grass. The moon had lost her memory. A washed-out smallpox cracks her face. Her hand twists a paper rose that smells of dust and old cologne. She is alone with all the old nocturnal smells that cross and cross across her brain. The reminiscence comes of sunless dry geraniums and dust and crevices, smells of chestnut in the streets, and female smells in shuttered rooms, and cigarettes in corridors, and cocktail smells in bars. The lamp said, 4:00. Here is the number on the door. Memory, you have the key. The The little lamp spreads a ring on the stair. Mount. The bed is open. The toothbrush hangs on the wall. Put your shoes at the door. Sleep. Prepare for life.